Jujutsu Kaisen has solidified itself as the future pirate king of new-gen shonen, and that's because it doesn't play by the same formula or follow the established rule set by its predecessors. It builds off the classic shonen tropes, subverts them, and cranks it up to wumbo. TikTok creator Mr. Anything had a unique take on this perspective, stating that Jujutsu Kaisen passes something called the rule test.
The rule test basically saying there are invisible qualities and necessities a story has that characters nor the plot can go past.
Now, this is something you also see in series like Chainsaw Man and Hell's Paradise, where the main characters have unconventional motivations, and the world they inhabit will rarely reward or forgive them for chasing after their dreams. Now, let's take an anime that I absolutely love, One Piece. Although Oda has manifested a world that's subject to his creative freedom, when it comes to certain arc structures, they follow a formulaic process. Luffy's always going to fight the boss, Zoro the second strongest, and Sanji the third. And this is something Oda has even admitted in his SBS section. And breaking past that point, every individual character has their own quirks that subject them to their own limitations and restrictions, such as Sanji refusing to fight with his hands or harm women because of his principles. Now, this obviously doesn't take anything from One Piece. The path it carved, leading with Naruto and Bleach and following in Dragon Ball's footsteps, is now something regarded as the basic shonen formula. And for me, when a series like Jujutsu Kaisen breaks this trope in both process and structure, we get something truly great.
The rule test is very important to me because the stories we tend to gravitate to the most are the stories that feel grounded in realism despite its fantasy aspects. In real life, there are laws, but there are no rules.
In Jujutsu Kaisen, the dark tone and sinister nature of the story help shape the madness that is Jujutsu society. Everyone lives with their curses, their emotional baggage, and this fact is established very early on in the narrative with Junpei. Junpei's introduction brings him in immediate contact with Itadori, with their dynamic reflecting the themes of understanding, loneliness, and of course friendship. Junpei's perspective offers a unique lens behind the morally gray Jujutsu world. Having been a victim of bullying and experiencing some of the worst that humanity has to offer, the perspective he maintains for human life is warped beyond belief. Junpei's feelings are grounded in realism, and they resonate with many who've experienced a cruel and unkind world. The fact that Logan Paul has yet to pay up for Crypto Zoo is pretty solid evidence. So when Junpei eventually falls down the Mahito pipeline, we understand how he got from point A to point B, and the situation forces Itadori to confront his beliefs regarding the value of human life and what it truly means to save someone. And despite his efforts and good intentions, he fails. And the tragic turn of events concerning Junpei pushes Itadori to reevaluate his motivations and actions. You see, in other shonen series like MHA, Black Clover, and Fire Force, the main character would have accomplished the job in Yuji's position. They save the day, they're rewarded for that aspect, and they're one step closer to achieving their goals, and someone like Junpei would have ended up joining the main crew. For Yuji, it's the exact opposite. He fails, he isn't rewarded, and he has to reevaluate his entire ideology. It's not only that Jujutsu Kaisen is choosing not to follow the rules, they're intentionally breaking them.
It's why Jujutsu Kaisen is so good, because none of the characters in the story doesn't follow any set of rules. And one of the things I notice about the show is that it intentionally breaks rules that other shows have. Such as the trope that shonen protagonists can't kill anybody. They can't kill anybody directly. And Jujutsu Kaisen verbally addresses and breaks this rule.
I think my biggest gripe with One Piece is Oda's refusal to kill characters off other than in their backstories. A great example is someone like Pell, who definitely should not have survived that bombastic explosion. There was so much meaning in his actions, and the fact that there wasn't any consequences was admittedly a letdown. Jujutsu Kaisen's approach to this is vastly different. Characters are not only dying, it's often the good guys who have to make these tough decisions.
Jujutsu Kaisen feels like a real, natural breathing, organically evolving show, and that's why I love it so much, and that's why I anxiously wait for every new episode to come out.
Something as simple as a conversation can drastically warp a character's perspective and have devastating consequences. Yuki's talk with Geto is proof of that, on top of all the other negative influences that pushed him over the edge. He was already on the deep end, and the corrupted Jujutsu world just affirmed his beliefs and convictions.
Nope. To create a world of only Jujutsu sorcerers. Actually, not joking. Filthy monkey who can't even use Jujutsu.
The narrative of Jujutsu Kaisen is like this beautifully written, never-ending cycle of chaos with top-tier character writing and S-tier fights. You never know what's gonna happen, how it's going to go down, and who to root for.
Unlike video games, which do have a bunch of rules, that do have a bunch of invisible barriers that stops you from doing the things you want to do for the sake of good gameplay. I need my shows to feel like life. not a video game.
Jujutsu Kaisen did what many of its contemporaries couldn't do. It broke the status quo. And that's why it cemented itself as arguably the best new gen series next to Chainsaw Man.